Welcome to the Butts in the Seats podcast, episode number 79.
Woo!
I'm not going to make the mistake of telling you what the show is. That's because
Thank you.
Emily likes to do that.
On this show, we take a week-by-week look at the downfall of WCW in 2000/1999.
And a little bit 98.
And a little bit 98.
We haven't gotten to 2001 yet.
Thank God.
I'm Nick alongside Emily.
He took that from me last week, and I haven't forgiven him yet.
I thought it flowed well.
It did flow well, but that's my line.
Emily, how you doing today?
Feisty.
Apparently. We spent all of today doing wedding stuff.
Oh my God. I have a job, but I spent the whole day doing wedding things, so I'm probably going to have to work late and make up for it somehow. I just looked up and it was 3:30, and I'm like, holy shit, I've done nothing but address envelopes and make table settings. I don't know, man. Just the day disappeared.
Yeah, and now you get to talk about a very forgettable Nitro.
Literally, we watched this yesterday, and I don't remember it. I have notes, thank God, but wow, was this a filler episode.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the January 24th, 2000 Monday Nitro, the second one post-Russo, and
I can't tell if I can feel it or not. It's just
happen.
It feels like Russo left, but they didn't have a plan, so they're using these last 2 weeks as just okay, what now?
The show is also moving slower. It doesn't feel like let's cram 3 hours into 2 hours. It feels like let's just do 2 hours.
It feels like let's try to fill 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which is very different.
Before we get into the show itself, I have two behind the scenes news things for WCW.
You guys should see Nick right now. He is holding a half little piece of paper by 2 fingers as if it's just an ancient relic that he's trying not to damage with his skin oils. There you go. Hold it like a human.
Hulk Hogan has said, I'm never going back to WCW, brother.
Liar.
They don't want to pay me enough. It's like, you still have 6 pay-per-view dates on your contract.
Liar.
And Bret Hart was told by his doctor that he should stay out of the ring at least 2 more months.
So even he doesn't know that he's done yet.
No, we mentioned that on the episode, but yeah, they have no idea what's going on with him.
Do you have any note from the other people that have left? Because they've officially been on WWF now at this point, right?
I think it's next week.
Oh, okay.
I think they get a release right around one of these days.
I thought they got released right after last week.
No. We went over it at the end of the sold out episode. The timeline is a little murky, but
Lizard brain.
I think they get released around this episode.
Okay. Because once again, no mention. And I imagine with the snark that was in this episode, I would imagine that some things are said on screen. Not necessarily about them, but just in general snarky.
Well, we mentioned last week that they just pretend Bret Hart didn't exist in stories.
Yes.
And this week, they don't even mention Chris Benoit's name. They're pulling a modern-day WWE.
But there was a little bit of snark with calling out Hulk Hogan at one point, and Mean Gene making his WWF little thing. There's a little bit of snark.
Well, the Hogan snark was meant to set up a story.
Sure, but I'm just saying there's snark.
Mean Gene snarky? What?
I don't know.
So, I guess the other thing to talk about before we get into the show proper was actually the first thing we saw on this show.
Oh, yeah, bring the mood down.
Yeah, in memory of Bobby Duncombe Jr. graphic. I couldn't find out if he was still actually under contract at this time. It was kind of vague.
Because he wasn't off TV for that long. It hasn't been, in the grand scheme, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it
hasn't been years. It's been months.
Yeah, I think he got hurt around the summer. But I mean, yeah, he's been on TV in the last year, and I don't know how much of him being off TV was his injury, or frankly, part of the reason he died. He was having a lot of substance abuse issues. WWE basically said, we're only giving you partial pay until you go to rehab, and he refused to go, and unfortunately died of a accidental overdose.
Damn,
and
that's just way too common. It's scarily common.
34.
That's horrible.
I don't know what I'd want them to do, but the fact that they just flashed this graphic and that's kind of it for the night, I don't know. That felt a little off to me.
Yeah, nobody else made any kind of mention. Again, it hasn't been years. He hasn't been gone for that long.
Have Kurt Hennig do a match. And
something, yeah.
But yeah, they moved straight past it, and I think we kind of said our goodbye to him as part of the podcast when the West Texas Rednecks broke up, but...
Right.
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I don't think I realized he died at that point. Did you mention that to me?
We might have early on.
Oh no!
I remember in the early episodes, just There was a lot of people.
If you told me he died, I don't think it clicked how soon he died.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I forgot. So this popped up on the screen, and I was like, "Oh, Jesus!"
Yeah, and I think I even like looked at you like, did you know about this? Like, how did this happen? And the overdosing is just so horrifically common, and nothing happens with it for like nearly another decade. Like, yeah, the wellness policy goes into place, but people are still dying in 2007 from this shit.
I mean, yeah, it's the wellness policy is we could do a whole 4-hour show.
Yeah.
4-hour show on
Right.
all the pros and cons.
The giant ass air quotes around what I said, wellness policy.
Yeah. Other people have studied a little more. For the first couple of years, it was kind of like, it's a thing.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing really changed until it had to change because they're like. I think the thing that changed was their top guy died, or one of their top guys.
And it was honestly, it wasn't even that he died. It was the scandal around the death. It was the Signature Pharmacy scandal.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. In 1994, my dad.
No, that was not. That was a different thing. Yeah, I mean, WCW was not known for, general wellness. You can see a lot of issues on screen a lot of times. And we get to see one of those men shortly, but let's just get into the show. Because we get a very... I think I'm realizing, do we ever actually get the WCW intro on this show?
Yes. So, we don't get the long intro. We get the shortened, just like logo intro right after the tribute. It's very fleeting.
Yeah, well, that's just the graphic they'll sometimes show at the start before cold open. I don't think we got pyro.
We did not get pyro, which I think is the right way to go. When you start out with a death tribute like that, I don't think we need fireworks. Hey, welcome to Monday Nitro. Like, no. I think that they did it right.
So we start in the parking garage. 4 limos arrive. It's Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett. They all arrive with some escorts, as I guess we'll call them going forward.
They're ladies.
Most of them actually go on to become things in WCW.
So they're interns. They're entry level assistants.
Emily, they can't be interns in the year 2000 without there being a 20,000 Bill Clinton jokes made. But there's a 4th limo, and who's in it but Scott Hall?
What? This is actually a pretty pleasant surprise.
Not a lot of fanfare. He's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. They just like rolls down the windows like, yeah, I'm here. Like,
they're like,
okay.
They're like, come on, get out. It's like, oh, fine. People were saying he was acting a little drunk on this show. I didn't super notice it. I mean, the problem with the very casual gimmick is that I think you can get away with it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm sure he had a drink or two, but I don't think that he was drunk.
But similar to last week, we opened with a cruiserweight match. It is the first match in this cruiserweight title tournament they're apparently going to do. It is Kaz Hayashi versus Psychosis.
This was a rough watch.
Well, now, the rough watch, are you talking about the match, or are you talking about Hoovie's new cool gimmick?
Both. All of the above.
I was aware of this gimmick. I kind of thought it died when Russo left. I didn't realize... that it was
barely
so going.
Came to life in Russo when Russo was there.
It was on Thunder. I kind of saw it at the time. But for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Juventud Guerrera is now the Juice. He's the Rock.
He's the Rock, but it's the Juice.
Yeah.
Which is also weird because O.J. Simpson wasn't that long ago.
Early 90s.
94. 94 was a big year, man.
But I thought this was a slightly more clever. Like, they actually did some writing to, like, rip off the catchphrases. When you just do it word for word and only change the word rock and juice.
It was verbatim.
Yeah, he does the, finally the juices come back to Las Vegas.
Even though they're in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we're in the brand new Staples Center.
Which is now Crypto.com Arena, shut up.
Yeah, he does the whole rock thing. And honestly, I was ready for, if you smell what the juice is squeezing.
Oh, that would have been good.
But he just does the if you smell what the juice is cooking. And I'm like,
juice doesn't cook. Neither do rocks. But like,
Emily, let him cook. I don't find it entertaining. I mean, credit to them. It's not offensive.
Good point.
Yeah, could be worse.
Could be worse.
But yeah, it doesn't make me want to see him on my screen.
No.
Another thing to talk about before this match starts. Hoovie's on the turnbuckle doing his promo. And in the background of the shot, or really the center of the shot, we should say, is a massive "We Hate Goldberg" sign.
Massive.
It's like one letter per sign.
So a whole group of guys got together and was like, "Do we all agree on this? Yes, let's go."
It's actually just the entire Hart family.
Maybe. I just sent Bret Hart a wedding notice. I wrote him a little letter. I even wrote it, like, I did write him like a little letter. I was just like, hey, we incorporated, your jackets into our engagement shoot, like, whatever, you mean a lot, whatever, yada, yada. And then I was like, I don't expect you to even read this letter, because why the fuck would you? I didn't say why the fuck, but, like, why would you? So, and I also wrote one to CM Punk, because the idea of him throwing it away makes me laugh.
Bret Hart writes a note back and be like, I can't attend, but let me tell you about that piece of shit Bill Goldberg.
I would die.
See, now I want to just invite the guy who writes the Bret Hart buries this on Reddit.
I would die.
So yeah, there's a match going on. It's part of a cruiserweight title tournament. It's going to end at Super Brawl. I think they're basically going to do like 1 or 2 matches on a couple of the shows leading up. They only do one on this show. So
if they're all of this caliber, I worry.
Yeah, let's just talk about it now. I think there's a language barrier in this match, which causes a lot of miscommunication and sloppiness.
Because it's Kaz Hayashi versus Psychosis. 2 men that we have seen put on good matches.
Yes. 2 men who we have not seen cut a promo.
Correct. This was clunky. I wouldn't say it was bad. I don't say it was sloppy, but it was clunky. There was a lot of, for lack of a better term, stutter stepping. Of just like, you know me, no you. Like, no one knew what was going on. There was no cohesion to the match.
Kaz hits a German suplex early on, and then a triangle drop kick, and then a dive to the outside. Psychosis counters a dive with a reverse atomic drop and hits a big clothesline. Literally, this is the point where I started noting, like, oh, okay, that was a bit off.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. What's this? Hoovie attacks Kaz on the outside, and then it slows down to a real awkward pace.
So neither of them speak English fluently, right?
To my knowledge.
They both speak kind of broken, so you have 2 men who don't speak a common language. Yeah. They were both probably trying to put together this match in broken English.
Psychosis tries for a dive to the outside, but Kaz counters it with a drop kick. He then goes up top for a superplex, but Psychosis counters it into a front-falling suplex in a really messy, kind of dangerous-looking spot. And then we just get more awkward action, and they, like, screw up this, like, kick spot, which results in the pin. Like, one of them tries for this, like, spinning kick and, like, kind of hits it actually at first, and I think they're supposed to miss because they do it again, and then they go into the finish. Psychosis wins with a roll-up, and to add even more to the confusion of this match, Bobby Heenan goes, yeah, Kaz Hayashi's your winner.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, the commentary calls him on it.
Oh.
Yeah, but this was messy and not a great start to the tournament.
I said, clunky. I hope that it doesn't stay like this.
I also would love to know who else is in this tournament.
Yeah, they never say. They, like, in the last tournament they did, they gave us a bracket. We don't get a bracket here.
We did get one additional entrant mentioned on this show.
Did we?
Yes. We're going to see him get squashed in our next match, but before we get there.
Okay.
Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, and Mike Tenay check in, run down tonight's card. Like, they actually have graphics. They're hyping things up for the show. It's weird. Who are you?
It's strange.
We don't know her.
Who is she?
Terry Funk and Arn Anderson are backstage roaming around. Then we get the NWO in their office, and Kevin Nash says that Jeff Jarrett's not cleared yet, so they need to find a different match for tonight.
Yeah, after they just announced Jeff Jarrett in this match against Sid, we go to backstage, and Nash is like, nah, you can't.
Yeah.
And then Scott Hall calls Terry Funk a goof.
Not quite, because they go to commercial.
Was it a commercial break, or was that a Peacock break?
I think that's a commercial break.
Okay, if it's a commercial break, then it's silly. But I was giving it the benefit of the Peacock break.
I think there's a pretty clear cut there because they kind of ramble off. And
okay.
We come back commercial and someone is booked against Bam Bam Bigelow in a hardcore match. Like, look at him! Look at this goof! He's wearing his gear.
Look at this goof in his gear.
Which, by the way, if you're watching the show, are you watching on like a 3-minute tape delay?
Oh, like you're saying, like if Scott Hall is watching the show? Yeah. He says, take a look at this goof, and Terry Funk just appears in the locker room. Like, what'd you call me?
So, yeah, later on, we're going to get Terry Funk versus Bam Bam Bigelow in a hardcore match. Let's go to our second match of the night. It is The Wall versus Kid Romeo.
Woof.
I know nothing about Kid Romeo. He's going to be in the tournament, apparently. He has a match on Thunder for it.
Nick asked when this match started, I guess, he asked, "Who do you think's winning this one?" He said jokingly. And I'm like, honestly, I don't fucking know. Like, the Wall is so nothing to me. I know that they're trying to build him to be something real, but he is still such a squash jobber player to me that, like, yeah, I could see Kid Romeo beating him. I know you're saying he did this big thing with the roll-up of Kidman, but, like...
The roll-up? No, he beat Kidman clean.
I mean... Kidman was down for the count. Like, he had done 2 matches.
One of them Kidman won in 27 seconds because he like a roll up.
Of it all,
yeah.
He did 2 full-on matches before the Wall came out. And yes, the Wall is a big guy, but it's like saying Omos is a big player. Like, sure he is, but he's not.
You're gonna anger the Homo sapiens.
I will. I am not one of you. I fucking hate Omos.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Wall was Berlin's heavy. He was meant to be this, like, big monster kind of thing. I was looking, I'm like, he actually has lost a couple times, but he's not losing every week.
He's still just not a big star to me.
He's an obstacle. Again, why are you not doing Kidman versus the Wall? Have Kidman want to beat him the next pay-per-view, and be done.
I agree with you. But putting him in these kinds of matches does not make him seem like a big deal to me.
No.
And I think they want that. They want him to be like this immovable force.
Yeah, it's always weird when you have somebody kind of enter stories and then you have them go back to squash matches. It feels like a step backwards.
Yeah.
So the Wall throws Kid Romeo around, beats him down in the ring. Romeo actually manages to hit an enziguri and dives from the corner, but the Wall catches him out of the air and slams him. And actually a kind of cool spot.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, the match wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
Big choke slam and the Wall gets the pin. It's all right. It did what it was supposed to.
I think I was trying to craft a Berlin Wall joke during this because I just have a note that says the Wall will fall on this kid, but that doesn't really work. And I think I gave up trying to put together a joke.
It's almost like he's named the Wall because he was paired with Berlin.
Well, yeah, I know, but I was trying to make like the Wall will crumble on the hopes and dreams of this kid, like it did, and Berlin. Right. I don't know.
All right.
I was working on it.
Try again next week.
Yeah.
Let's go backstage. Mean Gene's here to interview Sid and Sid's new hat.
His new hat. This man has such a big head that every hat looks silly. And he has kind of fluffy hair too, which does not help.
Frankly, I'm just going to play this promo because I loved it.
Gene, how can they expect to stop me with a roadblock? For I am like a monster truck out of control. See, I am here for one purpose. To reach one mission. To become WCW World Champion. Kevin Nash, you are the commissioner. But I am a man that can veto your power. Possibly your career.
It's just whispers. He's just like...
I know. The funny thing is, he started whispering and I felt you look at me like, you're fucking loving this.
And I look over and he has a big stupid grin on his face.
I was really ready for the shouting.
Yeah, you kept waiting for the beat to drop, metaphorically.
I enjoyed this. Sid is very much the main guy right now. I'm like,
Sid's becoming a cartoon character.
Well, he always has been.
No, he's becoming more of it with the charged up punches. No.
He got his car smushed and then jumped on it and yelled about Goldberg.
I think he was too intense and scary at that point still. I think now he's a cartoon character. If he did that now, I would laugh.
All right.
Oh, we did miss in this past match the $15,000 bounty that is on Terry Funk's head now.
Well, I know Bam Bam talks about the $15,000, but I thought it was just they're paying Bam Bam to wrestle this match.
No, Kevin Nash placed a $15,000 bounty on Terry Funk's head to kind of get him out of the company, get him the hell out of here. And he offers that $15,000 to Bam Bam Bigelow in a hardcore match to take out Terry Funk.
Yeah, they should have done more with that because no one else does shit about that.
No.
So it's not really a bounty if you just offer it to one guy.
Yeah, calling it a bounty was probably wrong, but that's what they called it.
Yeah, because Arn tells Bam Bam not to wrestle Funk, and Bam's like, I'd wrestle my mom for $15,000. And I'm like, fair.
I think Kevin Nash just offered Bam Bam Bigelow $15,000.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
The two NWO Scots want to make a match, so they send Medeja out into the hall to find the three guys who were standing around watching.
Medeja. You said that she becomes like an important character later.
I mean, importance relative. She becomes like Scott Steiner's valet. I think there's another person in this group. I saw the listing of who everybody was. There's somebody becomes Major Guns. Somebody else in that group also goes on to become one of Scott Steiner's freaks. Somebody else becomes like an interviewer. I didn't.
One of his freaks. All right.
But so Medeja brings in three people. I did not recognize one of them at the time. I wrote a Horace Hogan lookalike. It's actually Al Green, who is going to be the recipient of the match they want to make.
No clue. There were three guys? All three of them just look like Creator Wrestler.
Yes. So one of them is Al Green, who is Kevin Nash's old tag team partner from the Master Blasters, who we definitely saw at least once. I think it might have been literally on the Return of the Master Blasters episode.
Maybe. To me, the Master Blasters is not real. That's just a meme name.
One is somebody who I did not recognize and did not care enough to look up because they don't really matter in this segment. And the third person, who wrestled a dark match earlier as a kind of a tryout, was Christopher Daniels.
Remind me who Christopher Daniels is?
Christopher Daniels is somebody who wrestled in basically like every company you can ever think of. He actually
but never quite makes it in any of them?
Not to like superstar status. Like he was one of those guys who was like a staple of the mid-card in Ring of Honor and TNA. Short version, he's like the next Dean Malenko kind of vibe.
All right.
He's still kicking around AEW right now. I know he's working as a producer, but I think he was doing a retirement storyline, but I feel like he just recently wrestled a match or was going to wrestle one at the like upcoming London pay-per-view.
All right. You've said his name enough times that I recognize the name, but I have no placement for him.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever seen him wrestle.
Yeah. So when you said, "Oh, it's Christopher Daniels," I'm like, I know I should know who that is.
That might be a lie. You might have seen him wrestle as one of the conquistadors as part of the Edge and Christian Matt and Hardy story.
If he was wearing a mask, it does not
Yes,
count.
he was.
I do not know.
But like that's the most like WWF time he kind of got. But yeah, super talented wrestler. So the Scots put Al Green in the match. They want to see blood and guts is what they were talking about.
Yeah, they were like itching for blood and guts. The women were itching for blood and guts.
And by blood and guts, they just want that in a generic sense, that not like the match stipulation they do in AEW.
Sure.
So that match is up in a little bit. Right now we have 3 count in the ring, and I noted they didn't do their song yet, and I'm like, oh, we're cutting before their song. They don't do their song, do they?
You were correct.
So they thank their fans and get boos, and
I hate that they get boos because they don't deserve boos.
you know who's outraged at this?
Who?
Mike Tenay.
That they're getting booed?
No, he's
That they
like,
exist?
like we're in the entertainment capital of the world, and we're gonna put 3 count out here. These fake artists, like Jesus.
You're
chill.
not getting NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, Mike. I'm sorry to tell you. You think Boys to Men are gonna come out here and play a song? Sorry.
Norman Smiley interrupts wearing Dodgers gear.
Maybe 98 degrees.
3 count attack Norman while the ref is distracted. I did not realize that this is a falls count anywhere match, 'cause I feel like they don't tell you that.
They do not.
And they also don't really say it first, but it's Norman Smiley versus Shannon Moore. It's a one-on-one match.
Yeah, even like as the match was going, you're like, is this a handicap match? Like it could have been.
We get a big wiggle from Norman after a backbreaker, and then a wheelbarrow facebuster from Norman, but he does put some spanking in the middle.
Yeah, he really does do the big wiggle as it was originally intended.
So this is the part where I found out that this match is a falls count anywhere match, because 3 count go to interfere while Mickey J like comes out of the ring to come examine Shannon Moore, and I'm like, God, that was a long way to do ref interference, because the refs never leave the ring like that. And I'm like, you did that just to have the 3 count interfere, and then something happens and they go for a pin, and he tries to count it. I'm like, oh, it's no DQ. Okay.
You like lost your mind when Mickey J was blatantly ignoring what was happening in the background. And this is when you start losing your mind was when I was like, oh, I could not give less of a shit about this match. Oh no.
It was just a lot of effort to ignore what was happening. Like I had to be like honed in. I'm like, okay, never mind. This isn't as weird. We get a lazy dancing elbow drop from Shannon Moore. Norman Smiley locks in a chicken wing, and Shannon Moore taps out.
Quickly.
Yeah.
And I realized how devastating the fucking chicken wing was.
I feel like he used to use that to win matches, and
Did he?
hasn't in a while.
I don't know what their moves are called. I don't know. This match, I should have loved this.
It felt
fucking
pointless.
hated it. It was so boring. There was nothing to this match. I was so bored.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like they're headed towards anything. It just felt like a pointless match.
Yeah, it did feel pointless.
Well, speaking of pointless, the Scotts and Al Green head towards the ring. Also, Kevin Nash is in a room with the Harris brothers, and he can't even tell them apart.
Who cares? Like, who cares if you can tell them apart? They're twins. Just go with it. I realize that they look different. I never learned their names because they're Nazis. But, like, who fucking cares? Just...
Back from commercial, Al Green is in the ring, but the two Scotts have gone back to the office. Despite the fact that they were all headed to the ring together.
Sure.
So this match is going to be Al Green versus Tank Abbott. Tank just beats down Al Green. Did you notice the phrase they were really trying to get over during this match?
No.
Tank Abbott, he's a handful.
I did not notice
They
that.
say handful probably about 12 times.
Really?
It's mostly Bobby Heenan, but
Why a handful?
I don't know.
Is that the phrase that they're going
I don't
with?
know, but they said he's a handful. They actually said it earlier in the night when talking about Tank too. I was like, that was kind of weird because they tried to do some sort of wordplay with it, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a handful.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
Well, Tank hits a right cross and wins by knockout. Tank then mouths off with somebody in the crowd. Bobby's like, oh, I know him. I'm going to go interview him. They said this man's name. I totally forgot what it was.
Oh.
Because they said it later.
This is just like the audience guy?
Yeah.
No, I did not catch a name.
So, yeah, because commentary doesn't say who it is at first. The guy's like, oh, I know Tank Abbott. You know, he's a sellout. Like, anything else you want to say? No.
He's sellout. But then commentary was taking this like, you think he sold out? How dare you say that he sold out? Like,
Yeah, I think it was meant to
Okay.
be he's like another UFC guy or something.
okay.
Oh, okay. Apparently it's his former UFC bodyguard. So he's selling out by going to WCW rather than staying in UFC.
But how is that selling out? So to me, selling
Because
out...
he's doing fake shit and they don't want to actually say that.
But to
it's
me,
fake.
selling out is like selling your soul to advertisers and just doing stuff for the money. Does WCW pay that much more than UFC?
At this point in time, probably, definitely.
I feel like in current day, UFC fighters get paid buttloads.
The big ones do. The small ones do not. Yeah, I think they're kind of going for the, oh, well, he took, the easy paycheck at this fake shit. But they don't want to actually say that.
It is kind of funny to me still in the year of our Lord 2023, the amount of people who still think that they are, telling you something that you've never heard before when they're like, it's fake, right? Like we were at a party a couple nights ago and I was talking to people about our podcast and it always gets people started talking about like when they were a kid, they were watching wrestling and I talked to them about like what we talk about here and they're always like, it's fake, isn't it? What, it's fake, right? Every single person says this to me. I'm like, yeah, I know. But like we refer to professional wrestling as a soap opera with stage combat. You can still get hurt doing stage combat. Sure, it's fake. Sure, it's scripted. Like, yeah, but it's not... You're not getting hit with, like, a fist of feathers.
Yeah.
Like, it's still kind of real. Like, you're not breaking any new ground when you tell somebody that it's fake. Like, we all know. Shut up. Let people enjoy things.
So do you think this is actually going to go anywhere?
No.
Yeah,
Sincerely, no.
I think I'm also hoping it doesn't go anywhere.
I'm hoping that they write off Tank Abbott. I hope they stop pushing him so hard. He's not going to be your next Goldberg. It's not going to happen.
I know he gets downgraded. And
They want him to be Goldberg. Russo wants him to be Goldberg.
yeah. Yeah, that's part of the issue is that winning with a punch is not a fun thing. Like,
No.
Like with Goldberg, seeing him do the jackhammer and the spear was like, oh, hey, here's these cool moves. This is like, oh, that one punch. Okay.
There's a reason that we enjoy watching wrestling and we don't enjoy watching UFC.
No.
UFC is boring. Sorry. I don't care if it's real. It's boring.
Well, speaking of somebody who definitely has never bored us ever, this interview is like half interrupted by Ernest the Cat Miller. He's back. And man, they did not try to give him a reaction in post.
No.
It's a dubbed theme, but man, they really did not try to save him at all.
He did grow his hair out, though.
Yeah. He says he's going to whoop everybody.
Sure.
He's still a heel.
Sure.
Rouse at the crowd.
Sure.
Call somebody fat boy.
Sure.
Then he dances.
Sure.
And that's it.
The end. I have not missed
I
this
think
man.
something was going to happen.
No. He really was riling up that fat guy.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, the fat guy was, like, ready to hop in the ring.
Admittedly,
It's always like a little bit frustrating to me as a viewer when the wrestler is like, come in here, fat boy. And the guy's like, okay, but he can't.
Yeah.
Security's not going to let him. Like, why would you call me in? Like, stop.
Admittedly, when he was calling the guy fat boy, I didn't know what I expected, and then they cut to him, and I'm like, yeah, he's a bit big.
Yeah, he's a bigger guy.
It's not quite them talking about how hideous these women are. It's like, wow, she's 140 pounds.
What an obese whale.
Yeah. So yeah, the cat's back.
Yay.
Backstage, Al Green is put into an ambulance. The Scots drop some money on his body for like, hey, you earned your paycheck. They got their blood and guts. There was no blood nor guts.
Nope, not even a blade.
Speaking of matches, I'm surprised it didn't have a blade. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Terry Funk.
Yeah, right?
Match starts with Bam Bam attacking Terry Funk backstage with a trash can. And then, in our uncomfy spot of the night,
Oofty.
he drags Funk into the arena via a noose. Why was that backstage? Like, he grabs it. He doesn't tie it. Like, that was already prepped.
Was prepared.
On top of a road case. I'm like, why? And I don't know whether this was a great joke or a completely awful joke, but Bobby Heenan sees it and calls it a Windsor knot.
I don't really get the joke behind that.
It's just the most common way to, like, tie a tie.
Sure, but there can be some, like, underlying jokes about how, like, corporate America is killing us all slowly by the ties around our necks. Like, there's some commentary to be made under that.
Let's just move on from it.
Some slam poet has definitely, like, spoken that at a coffee shop somewhere in New York City.
Yes.
Come on.
No, that'd be Brooklyn. That wouldn't just be...
You're right. You're right.
Bigelow works Funk over with a chair and then brings him to ringside. Funk falls into the front row, but eventually they head into the ring. Bigelow misses a falling headbutt, and Funk clotheslines Bigelow to the floor again, and then hits a springboard acai moonsault. No, I'm not kidding.
This was just, like, weirdly... It wasn't gruesome, per se, but it was, like, weirdly hard. It shouldn't have been so hard.
It was slow-paced enough to where, like...
Everything hit a little harder.
They actually used, like, psychology in this match.
Yeah, Terry Funk does use psychology.
On the flip... Because recently we've been getting For the Hard Way, where it's just bonk. There was no bonking in this one.
This was not a bonk match. Oh, the bonks. There were no trash cans. I'm very sad about that.
Well, there was the start. And then they got rid of it.
Yeah, that wasn't a bonk, though.
Chair shots to Bigelow. Funk hits headbutts, but then just, like, collapses.
Terry Funk did do a Jimmy Hart-esque throw of the chair into the ring.
It was a padded chair, too.
I know. But he, like, I don't want to say yeeted, but he just, like, very gracefully just, like, through the, like, his full body threw the chair into the ring with, like, a flourish.
Do you remember the last time we talked about throwing chairs in the ring involving Terry Funk?
No.
When we watched the first ECW pay-per-view, Barely Legal, Terry Funk was in the ring and got headshotted by, like, every weapon that got thrown into the ring by, like, Sandman and Steve Richards.
That.
Just, like, pinpoint precision. He kept getting hit right in the fucking head. Those were bonks.
Terry Funk's still kicking, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, every now and again I do look up. I'm like, is Terry Funk actually still wrestling? It's never clear.
I hope the answer is he is not. I hope he lives on a secluded farm in the middle of nowhere.
He's 78.
Is he older or younger than Ric Flair?
I was literally searching it right now.
Oh, good point.
Ric Flair is 74. Admittedly, I haven't seen him in a while. I still have more faith in Terry Funk doing one more match than Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And Terry Funk's still gonna fucking do a moonsault somehow.
He absolutely would.
So the last match I can find of his is from September of 2017, which was a 6-man tag, so you can kind of hide a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, after Funk collapses, Bigelow goes for a diving headbutt to Funk and hits it, but then goes up top again for another one, and then we get Brian Knobbs and Fit Finlay running out. Spot that I'm like, are you guys feuding?
Yeah.
Bigelow kind of manages to fight them off, and then goes for another diving headbutt, but Knobbs puts a chair on Terry Funk, and Bigelow lands on the chair. The way I described that was incredibly smooth.
You did. You
what
did that very well.
actually happens is way messier. And also, Brian Knobbs is just, like, randomly sitting, like with a chair 6 inches from where he's about to slide it to, like, waiting for Bigelow to, like, go up top and die. Like, it's telegraphed from a mile away. They pull Terry Funk on top of Bigelow for the win. Funk grabs a mic and says Nash will have to kill him to get rid of him, and then hypes up reinforcements for Thunder. Thoughts on this match?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it was a little too, like, hardcore gruesome for me. But it wasn't gruesome. It was just very hard hitting. I'm not a big Bam Bam fan. I am really enjoying watching Terry Funk actually wrestle. because I've heard a lot of stories about him. I think I am interested in Thunder, though.
Well, that's good for you.
I know.
Admittedly, Bam Bigelow has jumped all over the card since he came back, whatever he did in 98 or 99. He's jumped from top of the card, mid card, low card. They kind of sold him as being a pretty, it's like a good heavy hitter here. And part of me is wondering, is that just because he's back to actually wearing his gear top and not a Mayhem tank top?
Maybe.
But it kind of shows that you give somebody a little bit of build, you just need to maintain it. Because I bought Bam Bigelow as a threat here.
Yeah.
Good. Build on that. And then next week they'll probably have him, lose clean to Norman Smiley.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if they're going to keep Funk around much longer. Do you know anything about how long his tenure is here?
I think Funk's around for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
It keeps feeling like they're going to phase him out soon.
I think that's because he showed up and immediately lost the position he showed up for.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think he just is a wrestler going forward.
Which is not a bad thing.
No.
Just be a wrestler.
We then see Sid and the Harris boys headed to the ring.
Good hit there.
And then we get Sid Vicious versus, I think it's technically Don Harris. I don't know which one's which. Now that it's commentary. They stop pretending.
Yeah, it's hard to tell them apart when they're not showing their tattoos.
They do still have their motorcycle theme song for some reason.
I don't think I've ever paid any attention to their theme music.
Well, it changed a couple different times, but
I don't pay attention to it.
when they became the Harris Boys, not Creative Control, they changed to the more biker things. I remember noting, remember how they were DOA, and that was the whole point of the song? And now they still have it, despite the fact that they're still kind of Creative Control. And I know he's on hiatus from the company, but man, they really have not said the phrase powers to be in a couple weeks. They just dropped that shit like a bad habit, too.
That is true. They have not talked about, they haven't said Russo's name. They have not talked about the power to be. We've had no allusion to the room just dropped.
Yeah, I mean, even after Piper killed it, they still made occasional mention, but it wasn't him appearing.
True.
So yeah, this match, Sid throws the Harris brother around ringside, and then I'm like, wait, are you the legal one, or is the other one the legal one? Because they kind of just keep swapping.
Well, I think they're doing some twin magic in here.
Well, they blatantly do twin magic at one point.
Was it ever blatantly said that this is a handicap match? Because I thought it was Dawn versus...
It is a one-on-one match.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
So I think Sid attacks the brother who's not legal, and then...
So maybe Sid doesn't even
and then fights the other one.
So I think Sid's confused.
Yeah, so they eventually kind of settle into this is the match. So Don Harris gets Sid in a rest hold and says, I'm going to be your new champion.
That is not how this match works.
Yeah, no one fucking knows what's happening with this match. And I guess I do. I'll tell you what's going on here. So this was supposed to be Sid versus Jeff Jarrett. If Sid wins, Sid faces Kevin Nash later in the night for the vacant world title. If Jarrett won, Kevin Nash just became the world champion. Jarrett was not cleared, so one of the Harris brothers has been put into this match in place of him. So presumably, if he wins, it's the same stipulation. Kevin Nash becomes the champion. There's no scenario here in which Don Harris becomes the new WCW champion.
Yeah.
We get some very messy action from these 2/3 men. The other Harris brother keeps getting on the apron too, which doesn't help.
Yeah, because I don't want to say they look identical because that's my whole point is that they're not identical. But when they're in these outfits, it is harder to tell them apart. I will give them that.
One of them takes off their tie and the shirt's unbuttoned, which comes into play here because Sid powers out of the rest hold, hits a chokeslam to one brother. They then do twin magic, despite the fact that they now are wearing kind of different outfits.
Yeah.
The one doesn't take off the tie and untuck the shirt to blend in.
Right.
But Sid powerbombs the other brother for the win. So Sid is now headed to the main event.
Woo! So Nash is not the world champion yet.
What you did not see...
And
well, not intended. What we didn't see, and people at home obviously didn't see, they didn't cut it from Peacock or anything, but what people in the arena saw was post-match, the other Harris brother gets in the ring, tells the ref, no, I was the legal one. The referee then counts out Sid Vicious for leaving.
Oh, come the fuck on.
Which means Kevin Nash would be the new champion and doesn't need to do the main event match. However...
Did no one tell him that?
The match still happens later.
Right. So why?
Well, I guess we'll just have to find out on Thunder, Emily.
Is it actually on Thunder?
Yep.
Nick, you're not supposed to know anything.
Well, we still get our main event later. And let's go to, I think we saw the match. And we're like, that's going to be our match tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Kidman with Tori Wilson versus Vampiro.
Listen, it's my match of the night, but it's not like blowing anything out of the water.
No. Vampiro starts with a snap suplex, but then we get a head scissor from Kidman. Vampiro hits a powerbomb on Kidman early on, but he's smart. He goes for it and like puts Kidman on his shoulder as opposed to going for the regular position.
This looked hard.
And then we cut to the crowd. Both of us were like, oh no, it's soon. David Arquette is here.
With his lovely bride-to-be, Courtney Cox.
Oh, I don't know when they get married.
I think they might already be married, actually.
I don't know, man.
Courtney Cox is in the audience. My little friend's heart is like just quaking. But I saw Courtney Cox, and then I looked to the right and saw David Arquette, and that was like, oh my God, it's Courtney. Oh no, it's David.
Star of Ready to Rumble, David Arquette is here.
Oh no.
The match itself, good back and forth action from these two. It's very 50-50 booking and the way they kind of put this together. Get a sidewalk slam to Kidman, and Vampiro goes up top and misses a guillotine leg drop. He also misses a kick and gets clotheslined to the floor. Kidman dives from the top turnbuckle over a cameraman onto Vampiro on the floor. And then a nice bit of camera work in there too, just to like see him dive and like disappear out of frame.
Yeah.
And then we get some miscommunication in this match too. Like I don't know why, but
I think that this was another case of Vampiro not wanting to play ball. Now that you've pointed it out to me, I think I'm starting to notice it more. I don't think Vampiro wanted to be facebuster. I don't think he wanted to play.
Yeah. We get a vault to the floor from Kidman, but Vampiro catches him out of the air. Kidman manages to counter the counter by pushing Vampiro into the ring post. Springboard move is caught into a power slam by Vampiro, but Kidman manages to hit sky high and then hits a DDT. Super sloppy face jam from Kidman, only gets a 2.
Calling it a face jam feels wrong.
Vampiro manages to fuck up a rebound clothesline and hits a Uranagi. Like, he doesn't turn around for it.
Right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he wanted to play ball anymore. He missed the face jam, and then he fucked up. It's like, you don't want to be here.
Vampiro dive is countered with a drop kick, and Kidman hits a corner Frankensteiner for the win. Still no shooting star press. They're taking that out of the repertoire.
I don't know why.
This was a good match, but with no stakes, it's kind of hard to care.
That's kind of what I wrote. I'm like, this is the best match so far, but who would care?
There's a vampire joke to be made with that.
No stakes. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
No, it was nice to see Tori. I'm happy that we're seeing Tori again. I like Tori.
She looked great.
She looked amazing.
And commentary agreed because they would not stop.
They would not leave her alone. Let that woman be.
We then go backstage. Arn Anderson is on the phone with somebody, and the 3 clues we hear to who this is put your pants back on. He says something about desert dust, and he calls the person Champ a bunch. And whoever this is going to be on Thunder. Now, Emily, who do you think this is?
It's got to be Ric Flair.
Well, you can't say it. God.
I think we all know who it is.
Well, we'll say it then.
I mean, we don't know.
Yeah,
how could
we don't
say?
know. But I mean, like,
how could we know?
We're all thinking the same thing.
But how could we know?
By the way, we're doing an impression of commentary.
Oh my God, it was infuriating.
Except, by the end of the night, they flat out say...
Yeah. Even they're tired of the bits. Like, fuck it. It's Rick. Like, shut up.
Well, I think they dropped 2 other names. Like, it could be Piper, it could be Rick, it could be Dory Funk Jr. And that's all we got.
Have I ever seen Dory Funk Jr.?
No, and I've barely seen Dory Funk Jr.
I'm assuming that's Terry's son.
No, older brother.
Oh. Does Terry Funk have kids?
Yes, but I don't think they're in wrestling.
They probably saw what happened to their dad. It's like, not for me.
I just checked. He apparently has 2 daughters.
Oh, good. And he was probably like, neither of you are ever touching a wrestling ring.
He's like, you can wrestle when I retire.
And then he never retires.
So yeah, we will get to see whoever this is on Thunder. I'm guessing it's only one person. I guess it could be more people.
They
but...
keep saying that they're bringing backup, which to me for some reason implies more than one person.
Yeah.
I don't know who else it would be though.
I don't know. We'll see. But it's Ric Flair. It's definitely gonna be fucking Ric Flair.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna be in Vegas. I'm like, yeah.
I didn't know desert dust was a euphemism for Coke.
No, I forget if desert dust was actually the phrase they said now that I'm thinking about it. It was about the fact that he got buried in the desert. That was the last time we saw Ric Flair.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot. That feels like ages ago.
Yes.
That also feels like that happened when we were watching Raw and not WCW. So like I had that in a different pocket of my brain.
And remember, him getting buried in the desert by the filthy animals, just
Yes.
remember that, is different from when he got taken out into a field and got beat down by the NWO.
Kevin Nash and NWO, yes.
And he got saved by that lovely farmer.
Yes. Good Lord, he ends up
And
in
not the
fields
cameraman.
a lot. My God. God, that feels like so long ago.
Elsewhere backstage, Kevin Nash gets a massage, and Jeff Jarrett's worried he's not taking things seriously enough.
You were like, oh my God, you were fawning over this massage because Kevin Nash was giving you some like deep moans, and you were like, damn, that must be a good massage.
Well, honestly, it wasn't necessarily him. It was the fact that like the woman doing it, you could tell she was working. I don't know which one it was. It might have been Medeja for all I know, but
But you were just like yearning for this massage. You're like, damn, that's a good massage right there. Nick's been a little sore the last couple days.
yeah, that didn't help. I hurt so bad yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know why you were so particularly sore yesterday, but neither here nor there.
We then get Mean Gene trying to interview Vampiro, but they have technical difficulties, and super quick on his feet, always helpful in a jab. Tony Schiavone being like, oh, we're having one of those technical difficulties that commentary has to try to help like fill time and cover. Mike, how you doing?
It was even less smooth than that. It was, so, Mike, how you doing?
It's the best thing he had. He
all he
stalled
had.
with the sentence and just, how you doing?
What's up with you, Mike? Let's just like chit chat here. Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah, and then they just give up for a little bit. They're like, all right, we'll go to the next match. It is the total package with Elizabeth versus Booker T. He was advertised to have Midnight out with him, and he does not to start.
Right.
Liz comes out with a mic and just introduces Luger.
He does his whole Luger thing, and then she introduces him. I'm like,
Well,
wis she doing
He does the
this?
whole Luger thing, and the pants clipped him a little bit on the way out.
Yeah. He crotched himself a little bit.
Well, no, he can't crotch himself there. She crotched him.
But you can't really react.
Yeah,
You're Luger. But she introduced him. Like, that doesn't happen. Why did she decide to do that now?
I don't know.
That has never happened before.
It was basically to like set up this promo, and I guess she wanted a line. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Didn't do it. Didn't do it for me.
We get some mild "We Want Sting" chants. Let's say that every day Sting isn't here, Luger grows stronger. What's the fucking force? Somehow, the total package has returned.
He's draining Sting's power. He's got Sting like stuck in a basement somewhere, tied up. and it's just,
Neither
like,
one can survive while the other one lives, or whatever it is.
Neither can live while the other survives.
Okay. Luger rambles about his physique. He says that no one can stop him, and then name drops Hulk Hogan.
But he name drops him in a way that it's like, I don't want you to hear me say this name. It's like, I am better than everyone, including Hulk Hogan. Like, he says it so quickly and like lower that it's just like, did you not want to say that?
I think it was meant to be him being cheeky, like, ooh, Hogan.
Maybe.
So yeah, they did that to try to like set up some sort of feud for whenever Hogan comes back.
I don't think it set up a feud well.
No, it didn't.
No. That's why I thought it was just shady. It just felt like Luger being like, feisty. Just having a little sass.
By the way, just before he comes back, do you remember the last time we saw Hulk Hogan?
No.
It was when he laid down for Sting in the title match.
Oh yeah, but Sting got pissed about that, right? He didn't get pissed about that. I wanted him to get pissed about that.
No, he did get pissed. He still pinned Hogan, and you were like, spit on his grave. I'm like, Jesus.
I stand by.
Yeah, that was the last time we saw Hogan. So I was trying to think, what are they doing? Oh yeah, that. So
I stand by. Sting should have been more angry. Should not have given in to him.
He literally did an open challenge for later in the night and wrestled Goldberg.
I know, but I think to me a better way
we can't get back on this.
He should have counted himself out. He should have left. I'm not going to be dignified enough to take this.
Match starts. We get an early running forearm from Booker T. Booker takes time to hype up the ringside fans, and I'm like, God damn, he really is professional.
He's so
push
good.
him.
He's so good.
Bookend from Booker only gets a 2, and then Luger suplexes Booker from the apron back into the ring. This is where commentary will not say Ric Flair's name.
Yes. Oh, they just keep going. You have to drown out commentary in this match.
Scissor kick from Booker, then a Harlem sidekick, but Elizabeth gets on the apron. Then we get Midnight suddenly here.
She appears out of nowhere just to intimidate Liz. That's her whole role, is just to intimidate Liz.
Liz gets down, and then this is enough to distract the referee because the new Harlem Heat are here. Stevie Ray and Big T interfere.
I didn't even see Big T. I saw the
He's
aftermath
big
of
as
Big
a
T.
fucking house.
I saw Stevie Ray, but I did not see Big T.
Luger locks in a torture rack and gets the win. The match itself, like, it made sense story-wise to do this finish, but I was like, it's the most predictable way to do this.
Well,
and I'm like, that's kind of lazy. And then we get Sting's music hitting, and a silhouette appears.
The wrong silhouette.
Very clearly not Sting, but
He's wearing the same wig that Lex Luthor. He's wearing the same wig that Lex has been wearing for the past couple of weeks. That like short hair, poofy, like triangle kind of wig.
yeah.
That's the silhouette. That is not what Sting looks like.
I think we were supposed to, in kayfabe, be like, okay, that was Sting.
Probably. But they should have used a better wig then.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't need to have a wig to make his hair. Yeah. It's just normal fucking hair. Slick down some hair. Oh, you know who would be a good Sting?
Super J.
Lucky.
Lucky
Whatever.
Cannon? Jesus.
Lucky Cannon. He'd be a great fake Sting. He has the right hair.
This is the first time Lucky Cannon's going to mention on a wrestling podcast in the 2020s.
Lucky Cannon, call me.
So yeah, I don't know when Sting's going to be coming back. I feel like last week they're like, he's coming back soon. Any day now.
Eventually. Please get on a plane, Sting.
What if he's the reinforcements?
Please fucking get here.
What if he's the reinforcements and then Arn Anderson just beats him down and it's like always a horseman?
Jesus.
Let's go backstage. We then try for the Mean Gene interview again with Vampiro. But first, Mean Gene accuses the WWF of sabotaging his microphone.
Yeah, again, the sass.
I think he actually just say, if I didn't know any better.
Say that the WWF sabotaged my microphone.
But
like, he literally said WWF.
But they don't need to. They're kicking your ass already.
Absolutely not. They don't even know that your show is on right now.
I think the night before this was the 2000 Royal Rumble, which has the great Cactus Jack Triple H match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't need you, man.
Vampiro cuts a very bland promo. It's hard to not see him into this. I feel like he was like, all right, I'll do it the first time. And then
it was like weirdly gracious.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I hope I get another rematch with Kidman.
Yeah, I respect you, Kidman, and I hope you give me another chance on Thunder, which is a match that's going to happen. I'm like, why are you asking then? So yeah, they're going to wrestle on Thunder.
Okay.
Then,
oh my God,
back in the arena,
oh my God,
David Flair, Crowbar, and Daphne take over commentary.
Oh my God. And
I remember they started doing this, and I thought to myself, what the fuck are they going to do?
We were both such haters when this started because neither of us, these three cannot string together a coherent sentence, and they have not. They just yelp and scream, and Crowbar says nothing. Like, it's just silent Crowbar, yelpy David, and siren Daphne. Yeah. So we were like, this is going to be garbage.
They hop on commentary, and they don't say anything to start, and I'm like, oh no. And
David's just doing his little yelps. Oh my God.
Fucking Crowbar turns into goddamn Gordon Soley, and it's just like a great fucking...
A fucking professional.
He was unironically terrific during this segment.
He was so good.
Like, I have almost no notes on the match because I was just listening to him.
Crowbar was amazing. And then Daphne calling the Mamalukes the Marmadukes was also quite funny.
Yes.
But like...
Okay, so the match they're doing this for is a World Tag Team Championship match. It is Finley and Brian Knobbs versus the Mamalukes. Or as Daphne calls them, the Marmadukes. Did you also try doing marmalades at one point?
Marmadukes is better.
Yeah. But Crowbar unironically killing it on commentary.
He was just doing... he was doing his fucking job. This man was auditioning.
And he fucking names a finisher. Big Vito, his finish is called the Paisan Plant. And I'm like, love it.
He did so well.
You laughed at Vito at one point just doing the hands.
Oh yeah, Vito's whole move is just Italian hands. Like, but I love you so much.
Standards and practices are here. And yeah, there's a match, but this match is not about the match.
No, it is. I could not care less about what's happening in the ring.
So Stacy smiles at David, and Daphne chases her out of the arena with a crowbar.
I did get a little bit annoyed at this because it felt like David had a little bit of middle child syndrome, if you know what I mean, where he realized that he was not getting all of the attention because Crowbar was doing so well, and he didn't know what to say on commentary. So David literally just got on top of the commentary table and started doing a little dance.
Yeah.
And then that's when Stacy looks at him, does a little smile, writes something on her clipboard, and then she walks off, and Daphne has like a whole conniption about it. But it was very much like,
yeah,
you want the spotlight on you, and you don't know how to get it, so you're going to do a little dance. Like, it's not about you, David.
So in the ring during this match, Brian Knobbs kicks out of a title belt shot.
Okay.
That's a rarity.
I wasn't watching.
Everyone starts brawling. The finish of this match is Knobbs throws a chair in the ring, like, at Finley for some reason. I don't know what else he would have been going for based on how he threw it and where. Vito hits the Paisan Plant and the Goons win. This was not a match. This was a crowbar fucking highlight reel.
This was amazing. I want him to replace Tony Schiavone. He did better than Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone. If it could be Crowbar and Bobby Heenan, that's the dream.
I have a feeling this might be the only Crowbar commentary. I don't know that
Which
for
is
sure.
such a shame.
Let's
Like, literally, go and watch it just for his commentary. He did so fucking well. Like,
wrap this thing up. We get Kevin Nash and Jeff Jarrett headed towards the ring. Nash makes his entrance alone, and regular commentary is back, and they say, it's not time for the main event yet. Nash is going to do a promo, and then it's time for the main event. So I don't know.
We looked at the timestamp. We have 15 minutes left of the show. Yeah, it's main event time, guys.
Goldberg chants happen, and Nash says he doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Did
what?
he fire him?
He threatened to, but yeah, that was a weird...
That's not true, obviously.
No, it was a weird thing to suddenly drop.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash makes this a no powerbomb match, which he does and he doesn't, because he says it's that Sid can't do the powerbomb.
He doesn't say that he can't do the power.
Well, he says this is a no powerbomb match, and then lays out a scenario where Sid does a powerbomb. He doesn't say anything for himself, but the first sentence implies that he can't do it either.
Right.
He doesn't do it regardless, so we got that going for us. Then again, he might just be able to do the powerbomb and the rest back his turn and be like, no, I didn't do it.
Yeah, Charles Robinson is the referee. Like, anything can happen here.
Nash notes that the NWO is not here. They're on their way to Vegas for a celebration. We go to commercial, come back. We get Sid Vicious headed towards the ring for WCW title match. And Kevin Nash is still there because I was ready for Kevin Nash to make another entrance and I was going to lose my shit.
Yeah, that would have been ridiculous.
Match starts with a sloppy scoop slam and a leg drop from Sid. And then we go right to the floor. They go for a test of strength spot back in the ring, but it's a fake out and Nash knees Sid in the gut.
Got him.
We then go to the corner. And then for some variety, we go to the other corners.
Whoa. Lots of corner work. But I mean, it's a Sid Nash match. What do you expect?
They brawl into the crowd and then head back almost immediately. Like, why do it?
What's the point?
We got a Jeff Jarrett sleeper from Kevin Nash.
You're calling it a Jeff Jarrett sleeper?
Yeah, no.
You're not going to call it a Glargay?
No.
Who are you?
You need to make the noise.
Is this a cry for help?
It's a, what are you doing, Mark, sleeper? You can't do your own rest hold. You have to do somebody else's, Mark. God. Sid powers up on the third arm drop.
Oh my God, this got me so good. Charles Robinson does the arm drop of, is he passed out? Is he KO'd? And he does the arm drop with one arm, and then Sid powers out with the other arm, immediately as it falls. I'm like, oh, I got him.
And then we immediately get a ref bump.
Yeah, so Charles Robinson is glass, as we recall. He's a little delicate flower, and he died.
Sid starts to come back, but smartly sees the ref is down. That's a rarity in wrestling.
Yeah.
Sid then calls for the power bomb, but good old Slappy is here.
What up, slap nuts?
Sid takes his guitar, hits Kevin Nash over the head with it. And then, also playing smart, referee's coming too, so Sid plays dumb and lays down on the mat and crawls over to Kevin Nash to be like, oh, anything could have happened here.
Anything can happen in the woods.
I appreciated the cleverness, but it was not necessary.
No, it really was not.
But Sid pins Kevin Nash, new champion, Sid Vicious, title change number 4 on the year. This was nothing special in terms of match. Sid
is really growing on me now that he's a face. I like him better as a face.
Yeah.
He's really fun to watch.
It's kind of amazing thinking about where he was during his bullshit streak, and now he's the top face, and I'm not fuck, we need to get somebody else in here.
Right.
No, he's doing well.
Yeah, he is. There's that sneeze again.
Yeah, and they're keeping these matches short enough to where it doesn't expose him.
Yes, and that is kind of key.
Thoughts on this show as a whole?
Boring.
Yeah.
Boring as hell.
It wasn't aggressively boring to me, but nothing was standout.
No.
It was more uninteresting than it was actively boring.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take uninteresting. But it did not, it had a really hard time holding my attention. So I scrolled back in my notes to make sure I had my best bit, MVP, and worst bit. I know we talked about it. We watched the match and we've talked about it in the last hour. Still don't remember the Al Green Tank Abbott match.
It wasn't a match.
It didn't even stick in my brain for the last hour. I said words about it. I'm going to listen back to this podcast and be like, oh yeah, I did say that. I could not remember that match. It's such a forgettable, Al Green himself is just forgettable. Yeah. I don't think he's going to stay around.
No, it wouldn't shock me if he's one of these guys that is, they're like, yeah, we fired you, but we'll call you in and pay you, a day rate.
Maybe.
So before we get into best bit, worst bit at MVP, we have to say goodbye.
To whomst?
Bobby Heenan.
This was his last one?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it for Bobby.
He didn't have much to say this one.
I mean, at least in terms of him being full-time, I don't even know if he shows back up on any shows.
He's not on Thunder? They don't relegate him to Thunder?
I don't think so. Watching me on Thunder, I'm going to be a hypocrite.
Yep.
He does Saturday night and then like does like WCW Worldwide, but
Damn.
yeah, they
I'm not surprised. They have been phasing him out of commentary for so long now that like, yeah, he should leave.
yeah, they've been acting like trying to like frame him out of shots, and it's like, oh yeah, Tony and Mike, but yeah, it's not just going to be Tony and Mike. We're going to get Mark Madden starting next week.
Next week it starts?
Yep.
Oh no. You told me that's one of the signs.
Yeah.
It's like the first sign of the apocalypse.
But yeah, Bobby Heenan.
It's a shame. I like Bobby Heenan. He's always a light.
I think everyone and himself included would admit that this is not his best work, what we've been seeing.
But I've been enjoying it.
Yes, he brings the level of snark we enjoy.
Yes.
He is not taking the show too seriously.
No.
Like, you can never accuse him of that.
That's true, which is kind of a good thing. Like, you need some, like, silliness.
Admittedly, I think people remember two things from his WCW tenure, and that's it. It's him paying tribute to Gorilla Monsoon.
Sure.
And him, depending on how you look at it, ruining the NWO Third Man story.
Oh.
Because in video packages, they cut his line.
What's his line?
Hogan's coming down to the ring to, like, you think make the save. Bobby Heenan goes, but whose side is he on? You were never meant to doubt that Hulk Hogan was on the...
Oh.
However, it's one of those things of Bobby Heenan has, in kayfabe, always hated Hulk Hogan, so it makes some sense.
It does. Yeah, interesting. I never thought about it.
Yeah, I think WWE leaves it in whenever they include it in a package, but WCW has, like, trimmed that entirely out.
Wow.
But other than that, yeah, he's not super known for his time here. I mean, admittedly, he was still here, as we said before. His daughter was going to school in Atlanta. That's
wow.
Like, I can, be near her and still
do my job.
Yeah, work out for him. So, Bobby Heenan, you will be missed.
I will miss him. I like Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
He grew on me.
But we might have to watch the 92 Rumble just to have a final stamp on the Bobby Heenan. It's funny. Bobby Heenan has a catchphrase in that Rumble that it's not fair to Flair. And it's not fair that he's going to be gone right before Flair comes back. It's not fair to Bobby.
That is true. That's a shame.
With that, let's get into best bit, worst bit, MVP. Emily, what is your best bit?
So I really fluctuated on this.
As am I.
The way we talked about it, I think I have to give it to the team David Crowbar Daphne on commentary. Just like that whole segment in general, I think that was my best bit of the show.
Yeah, I think the term is best bit, and that was the best bit, was Crowbar's commentary.
It was so fun, but like the problem is, like, ask me the next question.
Worst bit.
Third question.
Yeah, and Crowbar's also my MVP.
He's my MVP!
Yeah. Crowbar is the best bit and MVP on this.
This 5 minutes of the show was the best 5 minutes of a wrestling show that you could get.
Because it was also a roller coaster, because they came out and were like, oh shit, this is going to be awful. Yeah,
it was the surprise. It was the... I don't know. It was the allure of it all. It was just like, this wasn't supposed to be good, but it was.
And Emily, do you have a worst bit?
I didn't come up with one.
Yeah, I think nothing was offensively bad. The closest you get is the Tank Abbott, Al Green stuff, but...
That was on my list of like, God, this was so forgettably bad.
These matches are so short that it's like, eh.
Yeah, it's just like, get up, get a drink, and come back and it's over.
Yeah.
It's okay. You'll get through it. Do you agree with the best bit in MVP?
Oh, yeah. It's Crowbar for both.
Hell yeah, Crowbar. Crowbar is my boy. He has found his way into my boy stable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love him.
With that shocking revelation.
He's also not too hard to look at. Just saying.
You can listen to, I guess, Emily falling in love with Crowbar episode by episode in all our back catalog on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio.
Billy Kidman, you're on your way out.
Wow.
No, he's not. He's at the top of my stable. I love you. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, and then you fell even more in love with Scotty Too Hottie the other day.
Oh.
You've also on Twitter and Instagram at Butts in the Pod, and on Facebook at the Butts and Seats Podcast. Our next episode, as mentioned, is not the next Nitro. It's Thunder.
Thunder.
This is the first actual episode of Thunder we're going to be reviewing.
Yeah, we actually have to pay attention to it. It's not just going to be on the background.
Yeah, we didn't really mention anything besides the one thing from Thunder. Usually we fill in some blanks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be a whole new experience, except for the fact that It's not even like before where we were doing 3 hours and now it's going to be 2 hours. It's just another 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Nick.
I am Emily.
And thanks for listening to the Butts and Seats podcast.
Bye-bye.